Okay, let's start with a question. How much time, energy, and just brilliance is wasted every single day by people trying to solve problems that someone else has already figured out? Today, we are diving into a new kind of infrastructure that's being built to stop that waste. It's called the Regenerative Impact Alliance, and it's all based on this really powerful but simple idea about where the best solutions are hiding. Let's get into it.
So let me just ask you this directly. If you're out there trying to make a difference, maybe you're an organizer, a founder, you're working for a nonprofit, does it ever feel like you're building something from scratch and you have this nagging feeling that somebody, somewhere, has already perfected it? It is such a frustrating feeling, right? Spending your precious time and resources on these operational hurdles when your real mission is just sitting there, waiting.
If you just nodded your head, you are definitely not alone. These are the universal pain points. We see it all the time. These coordination crises where, a dozen different groups are working on the exact same problem but not talking to each other. We run into tool gaps, trying to manage these incredibly complex projects with like a spreadsheet because the right software just seems totally out of reach. There's that feeling of isolation, like you're the only one doing this. And of course, the big one, hitting that grant dependency wall where your entire long-term vision is basically held hostage by these short-term funding cycles.
And we have to be honest about where we are right now. Philanthropic funding, it's shrinking. And the world's problems, things like climate change and social inequality, they're only getting more complex, more tangled up. So in this new reality, the old playbook, working in our little silos, competing for the same scarce funds, and hoarding information, it's not just inefficient anymore. It is a guaranteed path to burnout and, frankly, to limited impact.
But here it is. This is the big aha moment that changes everything. The solution to your biggest, most annoying operational problem, it probably already exists. It's just not in your field. It's tucked away in a completely different industry, being used by people who don't speak your professional language, but who have absolutely mastered the exact process you need. The solutions aren't missing, they're just disconnected. Let's make this real. Okay, think about military logistics. For decades, they have perfected predictive supply chains and real-time asset tracking to move people and resources with just incredible precision. Now, what if a disaster relief organization could get its hands on that exact same playbook? All of a sudden, you're not just sending supplies, you're putting them in place before a storm hits, based on weather models, and making sure they get to the most vulnerable people first.
Or how about this one? Take the world of online gaming. These developers have literally mastered the art of building communities and keeping people engaged for the long haul. They use things like collaborative quests and achievement badges to keep millions of players invested. Now, just imagine a nonprofit using those exact same techniques to bring on new volunteers, create a feeling of shared progress, and turn one-time donors into lifelong supporters. That is a total game changer for keeping people involved.
And this last one really hammers the point home. The best-run corporations, they use these transparent dashboards and super clear stakeholder reporting to prove their value. Well, guess what? Those same governance tools can be adapted by mission-driven organizations to show their impact with total transparency, building this deep, unshakable trust with donors and the communities they serve. The answers are right there, just hiding in plain sight.
So if all these amazing solutions are scattered across all these different industries, how in the world do we find them, translate them, and actually get them to the people on the front lines? Well, that is the whole point of the Regenerative Impact Alliance, or RIA. You can think of it as the connective tissue, the translation layer, the central hub for the entire impact sector. It's the piece of infrastructure that's been missing all along.
And what's so cool about this is where it came from. ARIA wasn't just dreamed up in some academic think tank. No, it was built by 5 founders who actually lived these frustrations. We're talking about an Army veteran who got logistics, a Nigerian attorney who understood governance, a marketing expert, a lifestyle coach, and a systems coordinator. They are the living proof of this whole cross-sector idea, and they built the platform that they all wished they'd had from the start.
RIA's whole philosophy is built on this really simple but powerful idea. Focus on where our work overlaps. Seriously, forget about ideology or your specific mission for just a second. It doesn't matter if you're focused on cleaning up ocean plastics or improving local literacy. You both need to run a social media campaign, you both need to manage a budget, and you both need to coordinate volunteers. RIA builds its entire community on that shared operational ground, the practical how of actually getting things done.
So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it really comes down to 3 core things. First, knowledge brokering. ARIA goes out and actively finds these tools and frameworks from other sectors and translates them into practical, easy-to-use playbooks for impact projects. Second, coordination infrastructure. This is the real, tangible stuff, like providing access to shared tech platforms or fiscal sponsorship to help smaller projects get the grants they need. And third, and maybe most important, community building. Creating that dedicated space where you can finally ask your peers, hey, how did you solve this? And get a real, honest-to-goodness answer.
And a huge part of that knowledge sharing is about demystifying powerful new technology. This means curating practical AI tools that can act as a massive force multiplier for your mission. So instead of AI being this intimidating, expensive thing, RIA shows you how it can become your tireless co-pilot for things like grant writing, analyzing data, and strategic planning. It frees you up to do the work that only humans can do.
For example, look at this. A prompt like this, Mission Strategy Builder, literally transforms an AI into a world-class strategic consultant. You just define your mission, and it helps you build a tangible 90-day plan, complete with performance indicators and even potential roadblocks to watch out for. This makes high-level strategic planning, something that used to cost a fortune, accessible to any organization of any size, anywhere.
And RIA isn't just about ideas, it's bringing serious resources to the table. As a qualified nonprofit, it unlocks access to $10,000 a month in Google Ad grants. And that enterprise-level marketing power isn't for RIA's own benefit. No, it's used to amplify the work of the entire community, connecting changemakers to these tools and helping their projects find the supporters and resources they desperately need to thrive.
So here's the bottom line. In a world that feels more unpredictable every day, the single most important skill for creating change isn't just passion or even resources, it's coordination. Being able to coordinate effectively in the middle of chaos means sharing information in real time, working together instead of competing, and building resilient networks. That's the superpower of the 21st century.
And RIA is the infrastructure being built to help all of us cultivate that superpower. So if you are tired of reinventing the wheel and you are ready to connect with a community that actually shares its playbook, here is how you can get started. Head over to ria.earth to see all these ideas in action. Join the email list. Seriously, the era of the isolated changemaker is over. The future of impact is connected, it's coordinated, and it's collaborative. The only question left is, are you ready to join in?